The world stopped when Jamie walked into a room. His laughter could pull the sun from behind clouds, and his smile made strangers feel like family. Alex Harper, his younger brother by 2 years, learned early that I'd never outshine him. Growing up in Willow Creek, a sleepy town in upstate New York, Jamie was the golden child. Star quarterback, valedictorian, the guy who helped old Mrs. Carter carry groceries and still made it to practice on time. Me, I was the shadow trailing behind, the kid who tripped over his own feet and whose best talent was staying unnoticed. Our parents adored Jamie, their pride glowing like a beacon. I didn't blame them. Who wouldn't love perfection? But love, I learned, could be a jagged thing. At 16, I realized I didn't just admire Jamie, I loved him. Not the brotherly kind, but the kind that made my chest ache when he ruffled my hair or slung an arm around my shoulders. It was a secret I buried deep. Because in Willow Creek, boys like me didn't get to feel that way. And Jamie, he was untouchable, dating cheerleaders and charming everyone, while I sketched in notebooks and dreamed of a life where I wasn't second best. High school was a battlefield. Jamie's senior year, he was crowned homecoming king, and I watched from the bleachers, clapping until my hands stung. I told myself I was proud, but envy gnawed at me. I tried to compete, joined the art club, submitted pieces to local contests, but my drawings never made it past the school bulletin board. "You're good, Alex," Jamie would say, his voice warm but distracted. "Keep at it." I wanted to scream that good wasn't enough when he was great. One night, after another of Jamie's football victories, I found him in our backyard, sitting on the old swing set. The moonlight turned his blonde hair silver, and for once, he looked tired. "You ever feel like you're running out of time to be you?" he asked, staring at the stars. I froze, unsure if he was talking to me or the universe. "All the time," I whispered, but he didn't hear. He never did. I started pulling away. I stopped going to his games, stopped waiting for his approval. I poured myself into my art, sketching feverishly in my room, creating worlds where I wasn't just Jamie's brother. My favorite piece was a portrait of him, but not the perfect Jamie everyone saw. It was him on that swing, vulnerable, searching for something he couldn't name. I hid it under my bed, terrified he'd see it and know. By my senior year, I'd built a wall between us. Jamie was at college now, a freshman at NYU, and his absence should have freed me. But Willow Creek still worshipped him. "You must be so proud of your brother," people said, and I'd nod, my smile brittle. I applied to art schools far away: California, Oregon, anywhere but New York. I wanted a life that was mine. Then came the letter. I got into the San Francisco Art Institute. Full scholarship. I was packing my bags when Jamie came home for spring break. He found me in my room, surrounded by boxes. "You're leaving?" he asked, his voice sharp, like I'd stolen something. "Yeah," I said, avoiding his eyes. "It's time." He grabbed my arm, his grip tight. "Alex, don't go. Please." His voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Not the confident Jamie, but someone breaking. "I need you here," he said, and my heart shattered. Why did he need me? Jamie, who had everything, who never noticed me fading into his shadow. I stood there, staring at the brother I'd loved and resented, and realized this was the moment I'd been running from. I wanted to hate him, to leave without looking back. But his plea anchored me. What was he so afraid of losing? That night, I couldn't sleep. I pulled out the portrait from under my bed and stared at it, tracing the lines of Jamie's face. I'd drawn him with such care, every shadow a piece of my heart. I didn't know what he was hiding, but I knew I couldn't leave without answers. Not yet. The next morning, Jamie was in the kitchen, flipping pancakes like nothing had happened. Our parents were at work, and the house felt too quiet. "Talk to me," I said, my voice low. He froze, spatula in hand, and for a moment, I thought he'd brush me off. But then he turned, and his eyes were raw, unguarded. "I'm not who they think I am," he said, barely above a whisper. "I'm not perfect." He laughed, bitter, and my stomach twisted. Jamie, admitting weakness. It was like the sun admitting it was cold. "What do you mean?" I asked, stepping closer. He set the spatula down and leaned against the counter. "I'm gay, Alex. I've known for years. But I can't," he stopped, his hands shaking. "I can't tell anyone. Not Mom. Not Dad. Not this damn town. They'll stop seeing me as me." I felt like the floor had vanished. Jamie, gay, the golden boy, the one everyone loved, was carrying the same secret I'd buried. I wanted to laugh, to cry, to scream. Instead, I said, "You're not alone." The words slipped out before I could stop them, and his head snapped up, eyes wide. "What?" he whispered. "I'm gay too," I said, my voice trembling. "And I've been in love with you since I was 16. The silence was deafening. Jamie stared at me, his face a storm of shock, and something that looked like relief. Then, slowly, he reached for my hand. His fingers were warm, hesitant, and I felt my walls crumbling. "Alex," he said, his voice thick. "I didn't know." We stood there, hands clasped, the weight of years between us. I wanted to ask why he'd never seen me, why he'd let me drown in his shadow. But his touch was an answer, fragile and real. For the first time, I wasn't just his brother. I was someone he needed. The confession hung between us like a fragile thread, ready to snap. Jamie's hand trembled in mine, and I couldn't tell if it was fear or something deeper. I pulled away, my heart pounding, terrified of what I'd just unleashed. "Alex," Jamie said, his voice raw, "I didn't mean to make you feel invisible." He stepped closer, but I backed away, the kitchen counter digging into my spine. "You didn't make me feel anything." I lied, my voice sharp. "I did that myself, trying to be you." He flinched, and I hated how much it hurt to see him vulnerable. Jamie was supposed to be unbreakable, the brother who carried the world. But now, he looked small, like a boy confessing to a crime. "I've been hiding too," he said. "You think it's easy being the one everyone watches. I'm scared every day they'll see through me." I wanted to believe him, but years of resentment clawed at me. "You had everything," I said. "The trophies, the friends, the love. I had nothing but your shadow." My voice cracked, and I hated how young I sounded, how much I still wanted his approval. "That's not true," Jamie said, his eyes fierce. "You had me. You always did." He reached for me again, but I turned away, grabbing my jacket. "I need air," I muttered, and bolted out the back door. The spring air was crisp, the town quiet except for the hum of distant cars. I walked to the park, where Jamie and I used to play as kids. The swings creaked in the breeze, and I sat on one, gripping the chains. I'd spent years running from him, from this, and now he was chasing me. Why? What did he want? When I finally went home, Jamie was waiting on the porch, his knees drawn up like he was 16 again. "I'm sorry," he said before I could speak. "I didn't see how much I was hurting you. I was too busy trying to be perfect for everyone else." I sat beside him, the wood creaking under our weight. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "About you. About being gay." He laughed. A hollow sound. I was terrified. Willow Creek isn't exactly a pride parade. And I thought, if I told you, you'd hate me. You were already pulling away. I wanted to tell him he was wrong, but he wasn't. I'd built a fortress around my heart, convinced he'd never understand. Now, here he was, tearing it down. I don't hate you, I said. I never could. Jamie looked at me, his eyes searching. What you said earlier, about loving me. Did you mean it? My throat tightened. I could lie, walk away, pretend it never happened. But I was tired of hiding. Yeah, I said. I meant it. He didn't speak, just leaned closer, his shoulder brushing mine. The warmth of him was enough to make me dizzy. I don't know what this means, he said softly, but I don't want you to leave. Not because of me. We sat in silence, the stars above us bright and unjudging. For the first time, I felt like we were equals, two brothers carrying the same weight. But the confession had changed everything, and I didn't know if we could go back. The next few weeks were a dance of caution and courage. Jamie and I didn't talk about that night, but something had shifted. He'd text me from NYU, asking about my art, my plans. I'd send him sketches, and he'd reply with praise that felt genuine, not patronizing. It was strange, being seen by him. But Willow Creek wasn't kind to secrets. Rumors started swirling. Someone saw us sitting too close at the park. Someone else caught Jamie staring at me too long at the diner. Small towns have sharp eyes. And soon, whispers followed me. Jamie's brother's a little off. I overheard at the gas station. I ignored it, but Jamie couldn't. One night, he showed up at my room, his face pale. They're talking, he said. About us. He paced, his hands in his hair. If this gets out, it'll ruin everything. My scholarship, my reputation, your reputation. I snapped, anger flaring. What about me? I've been invisible my whole life. And now I'm the town freak because of you. He stopped, his eyes wide. That's not what I meant. Alex, I'm scared for both of us. Then leave, I said, my voice cold. Go back to NYU. Be the golden boy. I'll handle this. He grabbed my shoulders, his grip desperate. I'm not leaving you. Not again. Before I could react, he kissed me quick, fierce, like he was afraid he'd lose his nerve. My world tilted, and for a moment, I kissed him back, all my anger and love colliding. But reality crashed in. I pushed him away, my heart racing. We can't, I said. Not here. Not like this. Jamie's face crumpled, but he nodded. I know, he whispered, but I don't know how to let you go. The kiss lingered like a bruise, tender and painful. I avoided Jamie for days, locking myself in my room, sketching until my hands cramped. My drawings were chaotic now, all sharp lines and shadowed faces. Jamie's face, always his face. I hated how much I wanted him, how much I wanted to run. Jamie didn't give up. He'd leave notes under my door. Simple things like, I'm here, or talk to me. I ignored them, but each one chipped away at my resolve. I was supposed to leave for San Francisco in a month, but now every plan felt like a betrayal. One evening, I found him at the park again, sitting on our swing. You can't keep hiding, he said, not looking at me. I won't let you. I'm not hiding. I lied, sitting beside him. I'm protecting us. This town will eat us alive. He turned, his eyes fierce. Then let's leave. Together. We'll go somewhere no one knows us. I laughed, bitter. And what? Be brothers who hold hands in secret. You're still Jamie Harper, the guy everyone loves. You don't get to just disappear. I don't care about them, he said, his voice breaking. I care about you. Those words broke something in me. I wanted to believe him, to believe we could rewrite our story. But fear was a heavy chain. What about Mom and Dad? I asked. What about your future? He took my hand, his fingers steady this time. My future's nothing without you. We sat there, the swing creaking, the world holding its breath. I wanted to say yes, to run away with him. But I couldn't shake the feeling that we were doomed. Love like ours didn't survive in a place like Willow Creek. The next day, disaster struck. A kid from school, Tommy Reed, had seen us at the park. By noon, the rumors were wildfire. The Harper brothers are weird. Tommy told anyone who'd listen. Always together. Too close. I heard it at the grocery store. Saw it in the glares at the library. Jamie's face was everywhere, posters from his football days. Articles about his college success, and now those same faces judged us. Dad confronted us that night. What's going on with you two? He demanded, his voice sharp. Mom stood behind him, her eyes worried. I froze. But Jamie spoke first. Nothing's going on, he said, his voice steady. Just rumors. Dad didn't buy it. You're throwing away everything. Jamie. Your future. Our name. My future's mine to choose. Jamie snapped. And I saw the fire in him. The same fire I'd loved and hated. He grabbed my hand. Right in front of them. And I felt the world shift. Alex is my future. Mom gasped. And Dad's face went red. Get out, he said, his voice low. Both of you. We left, grabbing what we could and driving to a motel on the edge of town. Jamie was shaking, but he didn't let go of my hand. I meant it, he said. I choose you. The motel room smelled of stale coffee and regret. But Jamie's hand in mine was an anchor. We sat on the lumpy bed, the neon sign outside buzzing through the thin walls. What now? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. We start over, Jamie said, his eyes bright with determination. San Francisco. Maybe. Or somewhere new. Just us. I wanted to believe him, but the weight of Willow Creek clung to us. Our parents' rejection stung, and the town's judgment was a blade at our backs. Still, Jamie's certainty was infectious. For the first time, I saw a future where I wasn't just his shadow. We spent days planning, pooling our savings, searching for apartments online. Jamie took odd jobs at a diner, and I sold a few sketches to a local gallery. It wasn't much, but it was ours. At night, we'd lie together, not crossing the line we'd drawn, but close enough to feel each other's warmth. It was enough. For now. One evening, Jamie brought home a newspaper, his face grim. They're still talking, he said, tossing it on the table. A local column mentioned us by name, but close enough. The Harper boys. Lost a scandal. I felt sick, but Jamie just laughed. Let them talk. They don't know us. He was right. Willow Creek had built Jamie into a god, but he was just a man, one who loved me, flaws and all. And I was more than his brother. I was his partner, his equal. We decided to leave for good, driving west with no plan but each other. San Francisco was a revelation. The city pulsed with life, with people who didn't care who we were. We found a tiny apartment, and I enrolled in art school. Jamie took classes too, studying literature, something he'd always loved but never pursued. We built a life, piece by piece, learning to love openly, carefully. One night, a year later, I showed Jamie a new painting. It was us, standing under that street lamp in Willow Creek. But this time, we were free. our hands entwined. No shadows between us. "It's perfect," he said, his voice thick with emotion. He kissed me, slow and unafraid, and I knew we'd made it. Our parents reached out eventually, tentative letters that spoke of regret. We didn't rush to forgive, but we left the door open. Willow Creek would always be a scar, but it no longer defined us. In the end, Jamie wasn't the golden boy, and I wasn't the shadow. We were just Alex and Jamie, two men who chose love over fear, who built a life from the ashes of what we'd lost. And when Jamie begged me not to leave, I realized I never could. Not because I was his brother, but because he was my home.